Welcome back to All by All Design, where I teach you for free how to alter clothes, upcycle and hours. Today I'm going to show you how to adjust this dress. As you see, we have a pink dress and we have to adjust the strap. This is how I pinned on customer and this is how much we have to take in. Then also we have to take in sides, so stay tuned. So first I have to measure exactly how much I have to take in. I'm gonna use erasable pen that you can find on a craft store or Amazon. After measuring, we can remove the pin and start removing the top stitch. Make sure to remove it very carefully and don't pull too much. Next, we have to open the straps. For example, I will remove this stitch first. Since I don't have access like between the lining to the strap, I will have to remove it from the outside area. Make sure when you're removing thread, don't pull the fabric. We want it to remove it quality. After, I will remove the top stitch, which is our stitch that was on the strap. And we're almost done. We can cut the strap like 1.5 extra, but since my customer asked to leave extra just in case, I will leave all length inside. And now we gonna push and exactly at the line, but since we have the petal, we have to remove the petal stitch and then we will be able to push it the strap inside all the way where it's marked. Then I will pin the strap together so that way the strap stays in place. Now I will take the needle and thread and we will start sewing. First, I'm gonna start sewing from the right side, from the outside, let's say. Make sure all the thread are cutting out and it's clean. And I will also start the way that the knot will be hidden inside. And we'll start to hand stitch with the running stitch. Sometimes you can do the back stitch to make sure it's secure. You can also sew with sewing machine, but since allowance on the straps are too long and allowance on the dress is so short, it's very hard and uncomfortable to actually adjust with sewing machine. So this is why I will do by hand as back stitch. But also, if you have the access through the lining, you always can adjust it and just stitch it with sewing machine through inside. I want to show you the option. For example, if you don't have sewing machine, this is a perfect option for you. As you see, I am using the back stitch hand stitch. We're using the tiny stitches to make sure it looks like we sew it with the sewing machine. And make sure you're only sewing the strap to the first layer of the dress, not with both. You see the lining, we didn't catch the lining, so now we're gonna start actually sewing with the lining together. We can do it same thing with running stitch or back stitch to make sure it's very secure. Our strap is ready, we only have to do the knot and all set. We will have to press it down to make sure it's flat and nice. We will cut the thread, and then if you remember, I did detach the petal from the strap, so now we have to sew it back. So what I'm gonna do, I want to make sure it's exactly this like smooth length, and then I will see exactly the place where I have to sew, hand stitch the petal. And now with a running stitch or back stitch, to make sure it's secure, you can just sew it a couple times and all set. So our strap is ready, and we will start working on how to adjust the sides. Let's start working on how to adjust the sides. As you see, the upper part have lining. First, what we have to do is to remove this top stitch. Make sure to remove it very carefully with the seam ripper. Same thing we have to do here at the waist. The amount how much we have to open here is amount that for you will be comfortable to pull your hand through. That way you can pull all the fabric and taking in the sides on the dress. Before we're gonna pull all the fabric, we want to make sure exactly how much we have to take in. So I will take the ruler, you can take the tape measurement and measure exactly. For example, in my case, almost 2 inches, and then in the middle is 1 inch. So I already know how much I have to take in. So now I can start pull the lining and the fabric to the wrong side so I can adjust the sides. This is our upper part, and as you see, this is our seam. If it make it easier, you can also mark before sewing, but I can see through the fabric where the mark was, so I'm just gonna remark it just in case to see if I make the straight stitch. The allowance on the dress, you can leave it as it is. For example, when I alter sides on the dresses, taking in, then I always make sure to leave extra fabric just in case if later on customer wanted to let it out, then I do have extra fabric. I always leave plan B just in case, because in some cases on some alteration shop they always cut the fabric and then they come to me to fix it, and I cannot help. When the allowance is cut, it's cut and it's nothing you can do. After adjusting the lining, now I have to adjust the fabric. So we will adjust exactly the same thing, just as we adjusted the lining. Sometimes it's not really easy to pull, so you have to make sure you are sewing exactly the straight line, just how much you pin it to taking in. Next, we have to close back the line that is under arm. So I'm just gonna hold it together, pull through that little spot that I open, and now we just need to close it down. If you have the allowance, make sure on one fabric, let's say the right fabric, is folded one side and lining to the other side. You don't want to fold the allowance same direction, because it can be very thick, especially when you're gonna try to sew together, and then when you're gonna turn, it's not gonna look very quality. Now after I adjust the line, you can see all it's clean, and we can start closing the lining. Don't forget to press it very well, and next take the needle and thread, and we are ready to close the lining. To close this lining, we have to use the hand stitch running stitch, because with sew machine it's almost, well, it's not impossible. There are different way if you're gonna do the top stitch through the front where is the right, but I wanted to make sure it looks very delicate, so I will hand stitch this part. Pinning the fabric, it helps to keep the fabric in place, and then we can sew with the needle and the thread. Make small stitches and sew the lining down. When finished sewing, make sure to press it a little bit more and all done. Now I'm gonna show you how to take in and adjust the skirt part. For example, we wanna make sure the skirt is more like a pencil skirt, so taper down to the hem. So to taper, I will have to open the hem a little bit, just how wide I need to. For example, if I have to adjust 1 inch, then I will open 2.5 inches. Since our hem is glued, the easier way you can remove is actually to press it with a warm steam, and then you can open. After all, we are ready to adjust. So I will adjust exactly how much I pinned on a customer and we approved, and then we can start sewing and taper it. Next, I will cut the allowance and leave only 1/2 inch on the skirt part, and then we will be able to serge with our overlock sewing machine. Don't forget to press it after you are done sewing every single seam, and then the edge we're gonna just fold it and press it well. And that's all full tutorial how you can adjust the dress and the hem, taper the skirt. I hope this tutorial will help you in the future, at least one person. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe to get more free tutorials on how to adjust, upcycle, or even make some clothes. Thank you so much and wish you all the best.